recorded. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So when we talk about 2D array, basically, one second, admit Basit. Let us, I mean, close it. New class. Let me call it TD. Class name should be caps. That means 2D ARRAY. Let me call this class like this, and a public static void main in it. Say finish. There are 2 guys in a waiting. There are 3 guys. Let me admit all of them. Okay, so we got here the 2D array class. This is our class where we learn about the 2D arrays. So anybody have a question? We'll tell them first. Let's clear the concept of the 2D array. Then it becomes very simple. Otherwise, you never understand what is going on. So what is in 2D array we have a single dimension array. Okay. Is my voice clear? Is my voice coming?
Yes, sir.
Okay, nice. Saifullah, Ifra, and Uzair Qadir, open up your cams. Yes. Adil Nabi, you should sit in a one place. You cannot roam and be in a class. Adil Nabi, you have to be on a one place. Sit in a one place and be learning. Otherwise, it's no fun. You're walking and you are having this. This is not good. Okay. Now, what I'm saying is we have a 1D array. So what is 1D array basically having is we create with a new keyword some array, and we have some reference variable, say AR, which is pointing to this array. So what is happening is the AR is kept in a stack, and this array which is created is in a heap because it's created with the new keyword, and this AR is pointing to it. The reference variable AR is pointing to it. Now, if we have a 2D array instead, in 2D array, we have basically logical 2D array. Okay. It's actually internally, it is just a 1D array. It's a collection of 1D's array, but logically arranged in such a manner to behave as if it is a 2D array. Adil Nabi and Ifra Farooq, open up the cams. Now, what I'm saying is like this. It's like this. Say, for example, it is admit Wajid Hussain. So, for example, I'm having a 2D array. Say, for example, I got a TD. It's a 2D array with the double boxes. Okay. And I created using the new keyword. Say, for example, I say string TD, whatever, or int, or maybe I call it integer TD is equal to new TD of size 3/4. New int, I should say, TD of size new int of size 3/4. So I'm creating 3/4 of 2-dimensional array. So what I am doing here is this TD is actually again a reference variable. Okay. Okay. And now what we have is we have basically an array of 3/4. What we understand is we have basically like this. We'll logically find it like this. It's a 3 rows, 1, 2, 3 rows and 4 columns. Logically, we think of this. Okay. 2D array like this. But internally, basically, it is like this. It is like this. It is a 1-dimensional array only. 1, 2, 3. It's a 4 1-dimensional arrays. Whatever this says, it is that much of 1D arrays. Okay. Sorry, I did wrong. This much of 1D arrays. Okay. This much of 1D arrays, not 4, only 3 1D arrays. And each of these arrays have a 4 size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And like we have a TD, in the 1D array, we had a TD which was pointing to, the TD was pointing to the, there are 2 in a waiting room. Let me see who is these guys. Faizan and somebody, admit. Okay, Faizan's all, admit. So like in a 1D array, we had a TD which is pointing to this 1D array. Here we have double indirection. We have firstly the TD, that's a reference variable. It is pointing itself to another reference array. Okay, it is another reference array, which is a reference array. This is pointing to this reference array, which is itself having the address, like TD was having the address of this array. So TD was kind of a pointer or address or reference variable, which was pointing to this array. Now here in a 2-dimensional, it is same with the C++ or whatever I have shown you also in the Python and all, if you remember. It is the same story. Here Java also is the same story, 2D array, but I know you must have forgot the things. That's why I'm repeating this. Now TD is pointing to another reference array, which is an array, which is a 1D array of size whatever here is 3. So 3, it is pointing, this one is pointing to the first row, this one is pointing to the second row, and this one is pointing to the third row. Okay, are there participants? Yes, Zahid, Shah, Zubair. Doesn't make sense. This is the actual logical structure of it. We think about this, it's not like this, it's actually like this. Internally, it is like this. Basically, the 2D array, whatever the 2D array you create, it is actually consisting of the reference variable, which is pointing to the another reference array. That reference array, each box points to its own 1D array. Any questions regarding this? Clear, all right. So now it is, if this is clear, then you can do anything in the 2D array. You don't have any issues now with the 2D array. Okay. And now if I want to create a 2D array, for example, I'm saying int td, a 2D array. Yes.
सर आप कह रहे हैं ना कि जब हम एरे क्रिएट करते हैं तो उसमें रेफरेंस बनती है एक एरे में, तो फिर वो एक एरे दूसरी वन डी एरे को पॉइंट करती है.
यस
सर, लेकिन जब हम 2D एरे क्रिएट करते हैं तो उसमें तो एक्स्ट्रा नंबर ऑफ स्पेस बन जाती है ना, लेकिन उसमें हम डेटा स्टोर कर सकते हैं, लेकिन रेफरेंस कैसे हम उसमें स्टोर करेंगे? तो ये मुझे समझ नहीं आया.
आपको भी समझ नहीं आया? मैं भी अब मैं वापस समझाऊंगा ये चीज. पहले हम बनाएंगे इसको प्रैक्टिकली, ठीक है? मैं वापस समझा रहा हूँ इसको. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. ये मैं रख रहा हूं इसके फर्स्ट कॉलम में, ठीक है? और ये रख रहा हूं मैं इसको 8, 9, 10, 11. ये रख रहा हूं मैं इसके दूसरे कॉलम में, 12, 13, 14, 1, 2, 3, इसमें 4 रखते हैं, 2, 3, 4, 15, ठीक है ना? तो हम ये भी कर सकते हैं. इसमें हमारे पास ये फायदा है. ईशा एमको भी ब्लॉक, थोड़ा मैं इसको स्पेस डालूंगा. एंड टर्मिनेटर, ठीक है? देखिए ये मेरी एक 2 डायमेंशनल एरे बन गई, जिसमें मैंने पहले जो मेरा रो था उसका साइज देखिए कितना है, 8, दूसरे का 3 है, तीसरे का 4 है. ये एक तरीका है. ये तो इनिशियलाइज किया मैंने. मैं दूसरा जैसे हम करते हैं, इंट td2 दूंगा मैं, डबल बॉक्स इक्वल्स टू न्यू. अब मैं इसको न्यू कीवर्ड से कर रहा हूं, लेकिन तो मुझे क्या जरा आप साइज देना है इसको. मैं कहूंगा इंट 3/4. ये 3/4 की मैंने एक 2D एरे खड़ी कर दी. अब इसमें एक चीज है कि इसमें हर एक रो के पास 4 ब्लॉक्स है, फिक्स्ड. इसमें ये जिसे बोलते हैं जैग्ड एरे नहीं कर सकते. इस वाले में पहले मैं एक और बनाता हूं यहाँ पे, इंट td3 इक्वल्स टू न्यू इंट. मैं इसको 3 तो दे रहा हूं, लेकिन वो रो नहीं दे रहा हूं, ठीक है? इसमें 3 तो मैं दे रहा हूं, इसमें ये साइज नहीं दे रहा हूं कि रो वाला साइज कितना है, ठीक है ना? तो हुआ क्या कि ये जो मेरी एरे बन गई, ये वाली, लेट मी पुट इट ऑन, जस्ट कंसंट्रेट एंड आस्क क्वेश्चंस, डोंट वरी, इफ एनीबॉडी हैज इशू आस्क क्वेश्चंस. ये वाली जो एरे बन गई, ये ऐसे बन गई कि जिसका पहला जो रो था उसमें 8 बंदे, फिर इसमें 4, तो ऐसा हुआ, पहला 8, दूसरे में 3 और तीसरे में 4. ये बन गई ऐसे एरे. और हुआ क्या होगा कि एक टीडी जो है, टीडी विल बी पॉइंटिंग टू अ 1D एरे विच इज अगेन अ पॉइंटर एरे, एंड इसका जो पहला है, इट इज टीडी एंड दिस एरे इज लाइक ए 1D एरे. जैसे मैं आपकी 1D एरे थी और आपको एक एरे थी, उसको टीडी पॉइंट कर रहा था ना, जिस तरह आपने उसको एक्सेस किया वैसे हम इसको भी एक्सेस कर सकते हैं. ये जो 1D एरे खुद की है, ये खुद लेकिन पॉइंटर एरे है. दिस इज पॉइंटिंग टू दिस रो, this is pointing to this row and this is pointing to this row, ठीक है? और जो ये वाला है, इसमें मैंने सीधे बनाया कि हर एक रो जो है उसके 4 उसके 4 है, 1, 2, 3, हर एक में 4 है, ठीक है? इसमें कुछ नहीं हो सकता. और ये जो हमने बनाया, हमने इसमें बनाया td3 which is pointing to this array which is having 3 जो 3 रेफरेंस वेरिएबल है वो मैंने बनाए और कॉलम्स अभी बनाए नहीं. दैट मींस ऑन दिस साइड वी हैव नथिंग. जो कि रोज बनाने थे ना वो है ही नहीं, क्योंकि ये वाला जो है ये इसका है, ये इसका है. ठीक है, इसमें जो है खाली ये वाली रेफरेंस एरे बन गई. वी हैव ओनली रेफरेंस एरे एंड वी डोंट हैव एनीथिंग देयर. ठीक है, समझ आ रहा है? देखें, let us do something so that you understand. I want to access this. Junaida Shaukat has just come up. I want to, ये क्या हो गया? What happened? ये नीचे कैसे आ गया? अच्छा, ये नीचे आ गया कुछ. हम किसकी बात कर रहे थे? First of Java, close this one also. हमारे पास 2D array ये वाला है ना? Let me close all of these. 6.java, ry.java, object.2d मेरा क्लास है ना ये. Okay. Now let us try to access them. I want to access them. Okay. If I firstly say like this, जैसे आपको याद होगा arrays dot toString हमने किया था. ठीक है ना, हमने arrays dot toString किया था ना, सिंगल डायमेंशनल एरे को एक्सेस करने के लिए. अगर मेरे पास 1D एरे है, उसको एक्सेस करने के लिए मैंने arrays dot toString किया था पिछली वीडियो में. अगर आपको याद है, पता नहीं आप फिर घर में कुछ करते भी हो या नहीं. system dot out dot println, मैं वही arrays dot toString करूंगा. ठीक है ना, arrays dot toString करूंगा और उसको बोलूंगा तू मेरे को td, जो td ऊपर वाला है ना, वो मेरे को बता तू. ठीक है, arrays dot toString के मैंने td, क्योंकि arrays dot toString जो है वो 1D एरे को एक्सेस कर सकती है, वो सेकंड डायमेंशनल एरे को नहीं एक्सेस कर सकती. उसके लिए यहाँ पे मुझे लिखना पड़ेगा deep toString. यहाँ पे लिखना पड़ेगा deep toString, तब वो अंदर जाके घुस के वो सेकंड डायमेंशन वाला करेगी. अगर मैं खाली toString करूंगा, सो यानी कि आप td को प्रिंट कर रहे हो. दैट मींस यू आर प्रिंटिंग द td. सो मैंने इसको रन कर दिया यहाँ पे. कंसोल को ऊपर करते हैं थोड़ा सा. तो व्हाट हैज ही गिवन अस? जब इसको रन किया, व्हाट हैज ही गिवन अस? ही हैज गिवन अस दिस थिंग. लुक व्हाट हैज ही गिवन अस. कहाँ गया है ये जो मेरा td है? इट इज बेसिकली पॉइंटिंग टू अ 1D array having 3 reference variables, having 3 reference is a reference array which is having equal to 3. जितने columns हैं, जितने rows हैं, उतने मेरे पास ये होगा, और each one of them is pointing to its own row. So now I could have one longer row, another is a bigger row, this one is smaller, this one इसमें 8 elements हैं, इसमें 3 हैं और इसमें 4 elements हैं. Now what is it pointing to? When you say td, hey, give me td, bro, give me what is td, it will give this array. And this is this array. This is the first element of this array. This is the second element of this array. This is the third element of this array. So what is it having? It is having, this is the address of this first row. This one is the address of the second row. This one is the address of this third row. If I say td only. Now if I give it to the td2, if I say clear all drawing, I give it here td2, I put up here td2 cross, I put up here td2, that means this guy. Now it will give me the addresses of what? There are three addresses again, because I have the 4 columns on each row and we have address. But if I give it to the td3, where I believe that we do not have, we have the 3 array, what is happening in the td3? What is happening in td3? Answer me, what will it do? I know it. Answer what will it do? We have td3 here. Okay, now td3 is having like this. td3 is having that reference array of 3, whatever the size here is. Okay, and each one should have whatever the blocks each one should have. I don't have right now. I have to create it. I don't have that. So that means what will this pointing to? What are these 3 pointing to?
Same as td.
Nothing.
Reference.
These 3 are pointing to nothing because we have nothing on this side, because I have not created yet. So what will be there? What will be there? Definitely I have this array. This array I created. This is being created when I say here 3. So 3 of size 3, reference array of 3 of size 3 is created. But is it pointing to something? Because I'm yet to create what will be the size, because that may be different. I may do it use the new keyword. I may keep the first block size 4, second block size 10, but I have not created yet. So that means what will be there? The null. So if I clear this and run this here, so this time around I will have the 3 size, but it's not pointing to anything. That means I have not created that actual array, that those columns. I have not created that yet. So that means there will be null. So how will I create here? For example, to prove this, I will create here. Say I will say int of, sorry, not int, td3 of 0. Now I am creating the first row, okay, equals to, using the new keyword, int of size, say for example 8. Now I have got I am creating td3 of 0 is equal to new int of 8. That means I am creating like this thing now, because here what is happening here, now this will be a little clearer, that I am saying here td3 2-dimensional array and size 3 columns. That means I will create it at runtime. I'm not creating right now like this fixed columns. Okay, that this will be the square array kind of thing. Now this thing, it is up to you what size you will give. Now that means I have a td3 which is pointing to this array, which was having the 3 blocks, because 3 is here, so we have 3 blocks, and the first block now has the address. The first block td3 of 0, td3 of 0 is this guy, td3 of 1 is this, td3 of 2 is this. So td3 of 0 is now pointing to the 1D array, okay, having in it the 8 blocks. Okay, now this guy is having the address of this. What is this guy having in it? What is here? td3 of 1 mein kya hai abhi? Null, because it's not pointing to anything. What will be td3 of 2? Null. So if I print here now, if I give it a go like here, no, I have to clear this first. No? Now if I give it a go, the first block will have the address of that array which I created here, that is this one. The second and third block, they are having what in it? The null. Does it make sense or not? Are you getting? समझ में आ रहा है अब?
Yes, sir.
किसी को
Yes, sir.
किसी को क्वेश्चन? कैमरास क्यों ऑफ है भाई? मैं कितनी बार कहूंगा कैमरास ऑन रखें? हाँ, कैमरा ऑन रखें. फैजल, आदिल, शाहिद and Uzair. Keep your cameras on. Does it make sense now? I think it does make sense. But if you don't are not clear, let us do it again. So now if I want to say, for example, मेरे को ये पूरी, अगर मैं TD कह रहा हूँ यहाँ पे, ये क्या देगा मुझे? ये वो रेफरेंस एरे देगा जो कि 1D arrays को इनको पॉइंट करती है ना. This is that reference array. But if I want to use arrays class to print my array, then I will use here deep toString. Deep, then T capital, because camel case. Deep toString. Okay, this is the deep toString. It will give me the whole array. It will go deeper now. It will dig deeper and fetch the actual array also. So it will do what? It will go to the TD. It will go to that reference array and fetch then the next level. What is the next level? So it goes to the second level. अगर आप कह रहे हो खाली arrays.toString, it only go to the first level. It go to the TD, then go to that reference array. जो reference array है वो उतना करके देगा. Then say deep toString, that means we are telling him go deeper. अगर ये array reference variable है, go next level. Then it goes to the next level and fetches the actual array. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you are not getting right now the 2D array, then you will never understand what is a 2D array intel, because 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D, it's nothing. It is 1D array only. Okay. Logically, how you are creating levels? You are keeping levels over levels over levels, right? So what will
Yes,
be
sir.
3D array? What will be, if I say what is 3D array? What will be 3D? So TD will be pointing to this. Okay. There will be 3 reference array, for example, and this itself will be pointing to another reference array. This again will be reference array, and now they will be pointing to the actual arrays. Right? And so on. So that means this guy is pointing to itself a 2D array. This guy is itself pointing to 2D array. and this guy is pointing now to 3D array. So each block is pointing to the 2D array, not a 1D array. So in case my 2D array, this was pointing to the 1D array. Now in this case, you are further pointing to 2D array. So you are creating levels after levels after levels. So that is how you make 2D, 3D, 4D, whatever do you like to create. Okay. So here, clear all the drawing. So I want to access this now using simple for loop. पहले हम simple for loop करेंगे, फिर मुझे बताएंगे आप कि हम कैसे इसको करेंगे using the for each loop. Now इसमें कैसे करेंगे for each loop, और arrays.toString तो मैंने दिखाई दिया, arrays.deep2string इसमें लगेगा एक्सेस करने के लिए. अब अगर मैं simple for loop करूंगा इस्तेमाल, so what should I say? I will say for int I equals to 0, I is less than how much, मैं कहां तक चलूंगा?
Less than or equal to 3.
td dot नहीं मैं करूंगा ना इस्तेमाल कुछ ये td dot length and I plus plus, जो td dot length है वहां तक आप चलो. For int I is equal to 0, I is less than td dot length, जो मेरी td की जो length है, because what is the td dot length telling us? What will be td of length? That will be the size of what array?
TD.
That will be the first array, the reference array. उसका
First
size
one.
होगा ना, समझ में आ रही है?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
अच्छा, फिर उसके बाद मुझे इंटरनल, क्योंकि 2 डायमेंशनल एरे है तो दूसरी लूप भी चलानी पड़ेगी ना. तो ये मेरी दूसरी लूप है फॉर, हाँ, int j करूंगा खड़ा, j इज इक्वल टू 0. अब j कहां तक चलेगा ये मुझे बताओ यार. तो आप लोग एमसीए के बच्चे हो ना, आप बीसीए के थोड़ी हो. यहाँ पे कुछ लिखूंगा, फिर डॉट लेंथ ही मेरे को चाहिए, उसकी लेंथ j प्लस प्लस, फिगर इट आउट, ये मुझे बताओ. सो मत
JD of 0.
यहाँ पे यू आर राइट, बट पूरा बताओ, अपने गलत.
JD of I.
JD क्या होता है? हमारे पास TD है, एरे का नाम TD है, नॉट
हाँ, वही
JD.
TD.
J is दिस लूप वेरिएबल. देखे पहले याद देखो, TD is this, it is pointing to the 1D array. इसमें कितने बंदे हैं? TD dot length will tell me कि इसमें 3 है. अगर 4 होते, 5 होते, 6 होते, मुझे करने की जरूरत नहीं थी. TD dot length will tell me what is the length of this array. ठीक है ना? Now I have to print these elements. This is pointing to its 2D array. Okay, it is pointing to its own 1D array. Now this is pointing to this row जिसमें 8 elements हैं. This is point जिसमें कितने हैं? 3 elements है ना इसमें, दूसरे में, और तीसरे में कितने यहाँ पे? 4. This is pointing to इसमें 4 elements. Now इसमें कितने elements हैं? इसमें कितने elements हैं? It is like, think about like this. Clear? Have got a drawing clear this. एक एक करके मैं delete, हाँ eraser है ना मेरे पास. कहाँ गया eraser? अबे eraser में क्या निकल रहा है? Okay. Think about like this. कहाँ गया पेन अब? इसका फॉर्मेट. ओके, दिस वन. यही पेन है क्या? Clear all this. I don't know what's happening. Yes. Now it is pointing. It is like this. Forget about the bottom side. Forget about that. If you have this and this only, like a 1D array, for that this is pointing to, that means this was that TD. अगर 1D array मेरे पास है, ये 1D array है, ये TD है, ये point कर रहा है इस array को. अगर आपको loop चलानी है, आप क्या सीखोगे? TD dot length, because TD, this address is of this I. So if I say here TD dot length, it will give me the length of this array, right? मुझे कितना चल रहा है? TD dot length, अगर इसके 8 size है तो TD dot length will give me the 8. Now here this TD basically is pointing to this array which is of size 3. Okay, now if I say TD dot length, because it is pointing to this, now what is the address of inside TD? TD is pointing to this reference array. So if I say TD dot length, it will give the length of this array. Now this block, if I say this block dot length, this block dot length will give me the length of this. This block dot length will give me length of this. This block or dot length will give me the length of this. So what is this? How will I access this guy?
TD of I.
Beautiful. TD of I. So firstly, right now it is TD of 0. So if I say TD of 0 dot length, it will give me the length of this first row. TD of 1, because TD is pointing to this array. And what is this guy? हमारे पास होती थी ना AR होती थी, और ये हमारे पास होते थे ये. How I access this? This is AR of 0. This is AR of 1. This is AR of 2. Now right now the array name TD is pointing to this array. Okay, what will be this guy? TD of 0. What will be this? TD of 1. This will be TD of 2. Now if I say TD of 0 dot length, that will give me the row first row length. And in the loop, what should I write here then?
TD of 1.
TD of I.
TD of I.
TD of
Because
I.
if I say 1, it will give me only the length of the second row.
Okay, row.
0 and 1. So I should say TD of I dot length.
Total.
I plus j plus plus. ठीक है ना? For int j is equal to 0, j is less than TD of I dot length. ये error क्यों दिखा रहा है भाई? j plus हमने कहाँ पे गड़बड़ की? हाँ, length में कुछ गड़बड़ है, क्योंकि ये blue नहीं दिखा रहा ना इसका dot. Okay, we have 10 minutes left. ये नया लिखते हैं. J is less than TD of I dot. कुछ गड़बड़ है यहाँ पे, ये लिख नहीं रहा ना इसको. हमने गड़बड़ क्या की? TD नाम है ना इसका.
But I think I length आएगा.
क्या आएगा?
I dot length.
वो क्या होता है I dot length? आप कॉन्सेप्ट लगाओ ना, आप क्या बोल रहे हो? TD of I dot length लगानी है ना हमें. ये somehow it's not working. I don't know why. Let me save it first. Save all. ये एरर दिखा रहा है फिर भी. जो देखते हैं क्या एरर है. ये ब्रेस का क्या एरर दिखा रहा है? एक मिनट. सिंटेक्स एरर ऑन टोकन दिस. ये कह रहा है कि इसका एरर है कुछ. किसका? मैं नया ही लिखता हूँ, एक मिनट, कुछ गड़बड़ है. हाँ, फॉर. ओके, देन आई से
J.
int j equals to 0. मैं mouse ओ लिखूं तो j is less than TD of I dot. अब दिखाया ना इसने, पता नहीं क्या था, मैंने 0 मत लिखा था वहां पे. कहाँ पे? j पे. j is equal to ये है ना 0, मैंने o मत लिखा था. ठीक है, j plus plus. ठीक है ना? It is still showing some error. Why? What is the error? Syntax error on token जो होगा है empty statement expected after this token. I don't know. Let us see. Let us write the thing. What we
long
have?
brackets. Long
I.
brackets.
What long brackets?
For के साथ ये indentation पे होता है ना. सर आपने for के बाद long braces डाले.
For के बाद ये मत दो मैंने डाली हैं. ये किसका? ये मेन का है, ये क्लास का है, ये फॉर का, ये है ना इस फॉर का, आउटर फॉर का ये ब्रेस. हम लिखते हैं, देखते हैं इसमें क्या मसला है. डोंट वरी. वी से सिस्टम डॉट आउट डॉट प्रिंट. ये कुछ बता रहा है, सिंटेक्स एरर है. लेट अस सी. प्रिंट ln. We will not print ln, we will print only, because otherwise it will print in the next line each and everything. And what should I print here? TD of I j. ठीक है ना? TD of I j में print करूंगा. ठीक है? And then I हाँ ये असल में एरर नहीं था, असल में बता रहा था कि for empty नहीं हो सकता. ठीक है? आपने अंदर कुछ लिखना है यहाँ पे. It was like that. So we wrote something and it's gone. System out of print ln TD of I j. Okay? उसके बाद आप नीचे आओगे, यहाँ पे आप कहोगे system dot out dot println only. Okay, now what will happen is for this for loop I have not created brace, so that means it can have only one statement with it. That means this system dot out println, and this outer for loop I have a brace. That means this sop println which only acts as a backslash n new line for new line, ताकि मुझे एक रो प्रिंट हो गया ना तो फिर दूसरी लाइन में आ जाए. दूसरा रो प्रिंट हो गया, तीसरी लाइन फिर लाइन हो जाए। देखिए होगा क्या, ये चलेगा 0 से TD डॉट लेंथ, पहली बार चलेगा ये, तो उसके बाद देखेगा TD ऑफ 0, क्योंकि I इज 0, 0 डॉट लेंथ वो कितना है, वो 8 है, तो 8 बारी ये प्रिंट करेगा। एक प्रिंट में लिखा, प्रिंट एलन नहीं कहा, क्योंकि अगर प्रिंट एलन करता तो हर बार न्यू लाइन आता, तो ये एक ही लाइन में आ जाएगा ये सारा 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8। जो ही ये अपना ये फिनिश करेगा ये लूप, पहला आइटरेशन, ये इससे बाहर निकलेगा। अब ये लूप का, बाहर वाले लूप का ये प्रिंट एलन बैकस्लैश n चलेगा तो नए लाइन में ले जाएगा, है ना। इसने इसका 2D अरे CS पर बैकस्लैश n, ताकि वैसे भी किस लाइन में। उसके बाद ये ऊपर चढ़ के यहाँ पे आएगा और I बनेगा 1। ये देखेगा TD ऑफ 1 डॉट लेंथ कितना है, वो कितना है, वो है 3, तो 3 बारी ये चलेगा और ये प्रिंट करेगा 9 10 11 से बैकस्लैश n करेगा, नए लाइन में ले जाएगा। नाउ I का वैल्यू है 2, सो ये चलेगा TD ऑफ 2 डॉट लेंथ, TD ऑफ 2 डॉट लेंथ इस वक्त है 4, तो ये 4 बार चलेगा। I खत्म हो गया क्योंकि लेंथ वो 3 ही थी, सो उससे लेस देन ही चलेगा, 2 तक ही चलेगा और ये बाहर आएगा और ये प्रिंट करेगा हमें सारा। देखें ये वाला अरेज डॉट टू स्ट्रिंग ने किया और ये वाला हमने किया। इसको हम थोड़ी स्पेस डालेंगे यहाँ पे हम स्पेस डालेंगे। ओके, I think we call it a day because I have an exam. People are calling me. ठीक है, we'll continue with this concept tomorrow. थोड़ा समझ आ गया कुछ या नहीं? इसको थोड़ी सी स्पेस हम देंगे यहाँ पे, ठीक है। Let me take one screenshot and I will give it a go, ताकि स्पेस आएगी यहाँ पे स्पेस आ गया ना, 1 2 3 4 8, उसके बाद 9 10 11, उसके बाद 12 13 14 15, ठीक है ना। आप इस वीडियो को फिर से देखिएगा, I will upload this. Do watch these videos again. Do you understand? Shah Zubair, Faizan, Uzair Kadir, Sajid, Mushtaq, open up the cam. I will take one screenshot quick and we go. हमारा टाइम भी है 2-3 मिनट है बचे हैं, बट आई वांट, यहाँ से एग्जाम वाले कॉल कर रहे हैं ना 20 सेकंड। शाह जुबैर और उजैर कदीर, ओपन अप कैमरा क्विक, आई नीड वन स्क्रीनशॉट। क्विक, शाह जुबैर, उजैर कदीर, ओपन अप कैम, front screen. Okay, I'm ending this. See you tomorrow at 10, okay? But do watch this video.